They're that good.
No, it's like it's the look and the taste
Uh-huh.
in response to a castration of the deep state. So so therapeutic. Wait, let me grab another one.
All right, so I'm gonna go right to the serious topic, Ivan, because what you and I were just talking about is actually a scary conversation, right? We're talking about how we believe that they're going to steal it.
The fastest way to anger me is for a grown ass man like you to use terms like scared, fear, apprehensive,
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm.
nuts, berserk. You use language like that, and I'm gonna grow some fear. I will show you what fear looks like, so that you know not to even exhibit signs of weakness.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm not. I'm not. Well, the scary part about it, I'm not talking about personal fear. I'm talking about. I'm hearing that 100% this election's going to be stolen, and the reason why that's scary is because I think. I think it leads to bad things. One thing. Well, one second. I think it leads to bad things. But you tell me. You tell me what you think.
Are they gonna steal it? Is the question.
Yes. First question. Yes.
Do I breathe?
Do you believe they're going to steal this election on November 6th?
Do I breathe?
Yes. Yes, you do.
There's your answer.
So they're going to steal it.
Oh, I'm gonna answer it this way. Do I breathe, bro?
All right. So now that we.
That's a resounding yes.
All right. So now that
You want me to violently agree with me? With you?
we don't have to get violent, but.
So let me get some iron in me, raisins, before I bow up on you.
I thought we were homies.
We
No,
were
but-
until you exhibited micro weaknesses.
All right, so no, but I look at you as a guide to now. I want to know, what do we do? What happens next once they steal it? These deep state bastards. What happens? What is the next few steps, Ivan? Guide us.
Let's look at the constitutional calendar. What's the first date that comes to mind?
After November 5th?
November 5th is the first constitutional calendar date. So if they're going to use now early voting to send in fraudulent mail-in ballots, to go ahead and have dirty voter rolls, to go ahead and secure drop boxes so that there's maximum amounts of fraud, right? To use the mules and everything else, to do digital manipulation, software manipulation, hardware manipulation, foreign interference, right?
Which, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. I mean, we're already getting a lot of reports. We had Corinne in Florida talking about how they're basically registering illegals. We're getting all these reports. It's very clear that they are registering a lot of illegals. It's very clear that they're trying to use that as a way. Now, what happens when that goes down?
Well, you're interrupting me. I'm setting the framework here. You know me. I like to use as few words as possible in my responses, each one about an hour long. But having said that, let me kind of tone it down to maybe a 30-second soundbite. The only way to stop and go around all of the levels of fraud that I just laid out is to have direct legislative vote for the electors for president and vice president. What does that mean? I want everyone to pause for a second and memorize this. Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2. 212. What is this?
In New York City, Eric.
Yeah, so that's the provision in the U.S. Constitution that leaves the authority to allocate the state's electors for president and vice president with the state legislature. So, if you're a legislative body that consists of majority Republicans both in the state House and the state Senate, don't you want to stop all the illegal levels of fraud?
I mean, I would assume so. I would assume so, but that's not what they've done in the past, so I'm a little skeptical.
So then this is where Elon Musk comes into play, and Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson, all the biggest influencers that are advocating for free speech and a free, fair, and transparent election. They need to come to the conclusion that they are going to steal it. And the only way to stop them from stealing it, amongst all the layers that I just laid out, is to compel their followers to compel the state legislatures in the states that are at least Republican majority state legislatures to hold a vote on November 5th by that legislative body to allocate the electors. Guess what happens if everyone votes by political party in those states? That's 274 electoral votes in the bag, meaning a guaranteed election of the Republican nominee. Guaranteed with 274 electors.
You said November 5th are electors. Was that the right date?
November 5th. That's when the election is, right?
Okay, but isn't the electors assigned in January officially, like they did it on January 6th last time?
Electors are assigned by the states On November 5th, they're allocated, and the Electoral Count Act goes through the process of when they should be transmitted. Remember, voting for president and vice president is a conversation between state legislatures and the collective and the federal United States Congress. So the first part is the state legislatures. 274 states allocate their electors. Imagine it's live streamed on X, on Rumble, on C-SPAN, on Truth Social. And then you see how people vote by individual because when we run it this way. And then on January 6th, we do the same thing during the certification process. There's no room for objection because it's already been done legally, fully transparent, live stream. Okay? In the states that have Democrat legislative majorities, that's when we motivate the court of public opinion to vote for folks like RFK, Chase Oliver, or if they really want to heat things up, then you go ahead and vote for Donald Trump. Either way, we force it so that the Democrat machine is not allowed to continue their warpath, and the Republicans that the Republican uniparty rhinos that are endorsing that Democratic war machine are blocked from securing electoral votes from the Democrat majority states. Okay? And that's where we basically go to, if that's the case, then Michigan is going to go red. That means Pennsylvania is going to go red. That means Nevada, New Mexico, New Hampshire, the one electoral vote in Omaha, Nebraska. That puts you at, I don't know, closer to 400 plus electoral votes in a landslide for the Republican nominee.
Okay.
That's how we solve it.
I mean, that sounds like a great plan. How realistic is it? How realistic is once you add the human element to it? How realistic is once you add the rhinos, the mainstream media going after people, potentially even the Biden-Harris regime going after people for election denying or whatever? I mean, give me the choose your own adventure here, because one option I don't think is enough. We need to see different pathways of what happens. How do we deal with that? How do we divert? How do we, fix a new direction based upon what's happening out there?
So now that I've explained to you that the legal path you agree with,
I think it's a brilliant idea. Just there's a human element of just corruption and nastiness.
The human element is, what if you're a Republican that is complicit in the electoral heist, that is complicit in the corruption, that has TDS, and you're put in front of the global stage on C-SPAN, X, Truth, Rumble, as the world observes you standing up and voting on November 5th to see how you're going to vote as a Republican. What do you think they're going to vote? For the Democrat nominee or for the Republican nominee?
I mean, I see what you're saying, but then you have these characters like Romney that it's like, I don't know. I mean, I see a lot of these guys actually voting Democrat.
Yeah, what do you think their constituents are going to do to them when they do that?
Okay, playing devil's advocate here, their pockets are already so full that let's say they're banished or whatever, they move to Tahiti, whatever, you know what I mean? It's like even the worst case scenario, it seems as though there's not punishment, there's not crime and punishment, or acknowledgement of crime and punishment because of the corruption of the system.
So what about this? Well, before we get to January 6th, we'll get to that after November. I'll talk about January 6th after November 5th. I already war gamed this whole thing, okay?
I know you have. And what did I say, by the way? We were like, let's do a quick 5-minute interview. And we're going to be here for a sec, I have a feeling.
Let's not talk about the stuff later until we were able to shape what happens going into November 5th. So to answer your question a little bit more succinctly, Elon Musk and Joe Rogan are probably the two most influential people, along with Ken Paxton of Texas, the Attorney General, State Senator Brian Hughes, the District Attorney in Bastrop County, Brian Gertz, and the Sheriff of Bastrop County, Maurice Cook. I never heard of these guys, right? It's not like I may or may not have talked to all of them or have facilitated a plan with all of them. Maybe, maybe not. So what's the sequence of events that needs to take place if I were to talk to them, right? By the way, if you're watching and listening, all the mentioned names, this is what I may or may not have told you before that I'm going to reiterate again. Or not. Or maybe for the first time. Maybe this is the first time I'm telling or asking you to do this. How about Elon Musk show to his 200 million followers and the 600 million monthly active users on X, or a billion almost at this point, depending on what numbers you use. Why don't you go to explain to them the next level of Twitter files? The Twitter files on steroids times a trillion squared, known as the mother of all Twitter files. I've been talking about it for months. Remember last week Elon Musk retweeted with comment what I've been talking about for about a month and a half? That Twitter is not only a social media company, but a crime scene. He retweeted it with comment and did ... Remember the ... I wonder if he's ready, willing and able to expose those involved in the electoral heist of 2020, those involved in the censorship industrial complex about it, those involved in the COVID con, those involved in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, those involved that were the ones. Remember Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook admitted to 3 things? Oh, the Biden regime and elements in the White House pressured us into participating in Nuremberg 2.0, known as COVIDCon. Pressured us into participating in the Biden criminal syndicate laptop cover-up, meaning electoral heist of 2020. Pressured us into bribing certain officials in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, your place, New Mexico, New Hampshire, Minnesota, Nebraska. Some of the same names I just talked about, right? Mark Zuckerberg admitted to bribing those officials. So if he's admitting to it, and he's saying who did it as an institution, Elon Musk has the evidence to prove to the world of who those individuals were.
So you're talking about the DMs. You're talking about the private DMs.
I'm talking about the DMs on Twitter, the direct messages. I'm talking about the portal that was used between big deep state and big tech. I'm talking about the internal Slack channels that were used. I'm talking about Jim Baker's emails. I'm talking about Jim Baker's devices, phone, tablet, computer that were issued by Twitter 1.0, the company. And now that all that is incorporated in Texas, in Bastrop County, Texas, in Congressional District Mike Cloud's district, who sits on the Oversight Committee, which was the committee that had Jim Baker testifying last year, where I was sitting right behind him and said, hey, Jim, Ivan Raiklin, remember the name. And he said, no. Well, guess what? You will remember the name when I'm spitting on you as you're begging for mercy in a jail cell as you're getting ready to go on death row. That's what's going to happen. In the short term, the country is exposed to everything that we already know in detail. And then it's amplified. And if anybody from big tech and big media wants to go after Elon Musk for saying, oh, this is fake news, then he gets to go ahead and share their direct messages of corruption. You see how much dirt he has on everybody? Yeah. Can we go rated PG-13?
Sure, yeah.
This is the most elegant and substantive fuck around, find out moment. And Elon Musk is totally in control of when, where, and how he releases it and who he releases incriminating evidence on. Whether it's former Secretary of State Bookvar from Pennsylvania that used her Twitter to go ahead and run the playbook to steal the 2020 election in Pennsylvania. Whether it's Katie Hobbs's Twitter and her staff from Arizona when she was Secretary of State, when she heisted not only the 2020 election, but also her own election for Arizona to become the governor. Or whether you name the state, bro. What are some Nevada officials that you would like to see the direct messages of?
I mean, I know there's one of them's actually dead, but he is the king. And let's go rated R here. Here's the king motherfucker, and his name's Harry Reid. But everybody that's now committing fraud in Nevada is an acolyte of Harry Reid. They follow his.
One or two names. Let's start it off.
You know, there's some names, by the way, that are
Republican Secretary of State that facilitated the heist. She was Republican. What was her name?
I know you're talking about. It's slipping my mind. I know you're talking about, yeah.
What kind of a...
Barbara something.
Dude, are you serious? You're from Nevada? And you don't know the name?
I'm from LA, actually. I just moved to Nevada 3.5 years ago, but hey.
Unacceptable. Yeah, unacceptable. All right. I won't take that as an excuse. Unacceptable. So, you get my point here? So Elon Musk is like, oh, please come after me. Oh, well, look at what I have on you. Boop. Oh, you want to come after me next, New Oak Slimes? Boop. Oh, wait, Roytards, you want to come after X? Looky what oh, wait, speaking of Roytards, that was the subcontracted company to be the official fact checker of Twitter 1.0. And why is it that Roytards CEO James Smith is also on the board of Pfizer? Hey, James Smith, you're fucked once you piss off good old Elon Musk. You know why? Because remember when Elon Musk said, go fuck yourself to the good old Disney CEO? That refers to you as well, Roytards. I'm going to go back to the family-friendly version of Ivan Raiklin. You fool around, you find out, and Elon Musk doesn't say GFY just to good old Disney CEO. When he says, I'm going after the woke mind virus, that's everybody. Now, when people ask me like, oh, you promised September 3rd, Ivan. I promised what I can control. One layer to that was, if you didn't come out as a whistleblower by September 3rd, and we find out that you're part of the people that were part of my deep state target list as staffers or subordinate employees, we're going to treat you the same. There's no amnesty for you. But if you did, then we're going to give you some amnesty. When I say we, I'm the one that decides who to scrutinize and put on blast to then help law enforcement authorities to criminalize you. Because they don't have the assets or interest to do it. I do.
I got a question on that, Tim. Zuckerberg changes dialogue, right? Is that part of it where, you know how you're talking about people actually coming clean? Is that him trying to be like, dude, I know what's coming down the pipeline, or what?
No, that's his way to basically going into the November election to say, hey, guys that are on Facebook and they're going over to X and Rumble, you don't need to worry anymore. You shouldn't go on those platforms and see free speech. I want you to stay within my censorship regime in Facebook. See, I've admitted to it. I'm all clean. There's no censorship going on Facebook. Please stay here. That's the purpose of that in my assessment. Think about it, right? If he says it, a lot of these lemmings are going to be like, oh, Facebook's good now. I'm going to stay here. But by staying on Facebook, guess what? You are then manipulated into believing the Cheney criminal syndicate, the Biden criminal syndicate, the Harris criminal syndicate, the Barry Hussein criminal syndicate, the Bush criminal syndicate, and the war machine behind it, and the COVID con, so that they are not held to account, to include Mark Zuckerberg's participation in covering up for the January 6th Fedsurrection, the COVID con, the electoral heist, every single thing. That's why he came clean.
All right, so take us a few steps further. I know you said I just want to talk about this layer 1, layer 2, what exists in front of us in November, man. But, you know, people look at you like, you know, there's a lot of people that are lost. They know what's coming down the pipeline. They know that, you know, they're going to steal an election. They're worried. They're worried. They look at somebody like you for confidence. Now, give us a little bit more in terms of what happens next. What happens going into January? What are options? And if you want to be a little bit vague, that's cool. But give us a taste of where this goes.
I heard terms like worried. You're going to piss me off again. Okay?
Not me worried. I'm talking about the general populace and people that are Trump supporters.
Okay, you're getting better. You're getting better. Okay, I'll accept that as an apology.
I mean, you saw the documentary I just released, right?
Yeah. Them. Yeah. There should be no fucking fear. Yeah. They need to be concerned with us because we're coming for them. And they know it. That's why they're doing all these extreme measures. They have to escalate because they know we're coming. They have to go after Elon Musk because they know what I'm saying is fact, and they know exactly what they wrote in their Twitter DMs and the email exchanges that they did with Twitter employees. Oh, by the way, speaking of Twitter employees, I'm running a counterintelligence investigation on the C-suite of Twitter to see who still has relationships and loyalties with the old guard, Jim Baker, etc. And if I have a whiff of any transgression of censorship or anything along those lines, wait, put the mic close. You're going to get the biggest smackdown you've ever faced in your life. Yeah. Wow. And I'm not going to name names yet, but you know, I've already direct messaged some of you. Yeah.
Gangster.
So, when you know you can come up with a legal, moral, ethical, peaceful, and patriotic plan to hold these scum to account, that's why you have confidence, right? Because the more they conduct belligerent activity, the more I have to expose them to raise the pressure on them.
You're not like, you don't seem like you're Ivan Raiklin today. You're the same Ivan Raiklin I hung out with in February and March when we were chasing down congressional members. Like, you don't seem, well, you're hobbling, but in terms of the fire that you are exuding right now, that hasn't changed. I mean, but people are, that this is why I feel like they need to hear from you, because your confidence hasn't changed. And I feel like a lot of people are losing confidence right now.
All right, this is why. Let's make the assumption, worst case scenario, that Kamala and Tim Walz win the election. The U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate go to the Democrats. Are you concerned?
I mean, concerned, yes.
Okay, that's better language. I'm making the assumption that that happens, okay? So then it begs the question, what do we do to still continue to absolutely crush them? We still have an A.G. Paxton, don't we? We still have an Elon Musk, don't we? We still have Attorney General Bailey in Missouri. We still have, the Attorney General in Kansas, Chris Kobach, and so on and so forth. And now we go on offense, because that's when I think Elon Musk dangling what he has to say, hey, if you don't want me to release and have accountability on you, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris and the rest of the regime, then why don't you go ahead and allow President Trump to secure the nomination, and we will do everything in our power to just let you retire, and we won't come after you. But if you don't let President Trump win this election free, fair, and square, we're going to go to town on you, maximally. Exactly how Ivan Raiklin has been laying out. Meaning, live streamed swatting raids of every single person on Ivan's deep state target list, and that just doubled because 741 folks from the national security arena also signed their name on the dotted line last week saying that we are complicit in the COVID con and the coup and the cover-ups. Now we're up to potentially 1,300 individuals.
So you're talking about the states going and doing the swatting. State power.
State power, baby.
It's all about state power.
That's why they're going after Elon Musk so hard. That's why they're going after Ken Paxton. Elon Musk has this infrastructure that he's built out for such a time as this. He's got his own internet. Starlink. Right? He's going to come out with his own phone, his own communication network, X. So the stars are lining up. I just don't know what Elon's calculus is on why he's waiting so long. But maybe he's kind of understanding and communicating with the campaign to have the traditional October surprise. And if it doesn't come out by remember, the October surprise, if you will, of the Biden criminal syndicate laptop didn't take place until the day before the second debate between Trump and Biden. So maybe they're under the same impression because they're not thinking it as in-depth as I am with early voting. We're in early voting already in 7 states. So it would have been nice to have some of this already start to come out at a bigger scale, at least partially for Pennsylvania. Like Elon Musk should release all the incriminating criminal evidence of the electoral heist of the 2020 election for Pennsylvania, namely the Secretary of State, the governor, right? All those elected officials that participated in the electoral heist, or the, was it Gassner, who's the DA in Philadelphia, total Soros DA. Let's look at him and all of his staffers to expose the electoral heist and then target it, leveraging that information, providing it to the Trump campaign for the Trump campaign to do targeted ads in those areas on Facebook and everything else to basically say, hey, you said that we were lying and it was a misinformation. Well, here's the truth. Here's the direct messages of Gassner, of Bukvar, of Shapiro, and everybody in Pennsylvania that stole the 2020 election. That would be my offer of advice, but
you inspire me. This episode is actually going to be called "What Are We Going to Do Once They Steal the Election?" Because I'm that certain, 100% certainty that they're going to steal this, and we need to be prepared.
And when that takes place, November 5th is only one date. Remember, there are other dates under the Electoral Count Act. There's December. There's 3 dates in December. Again, we're too premature. I already have a plan. I already have the counter strategy. I've already war gamed basically their next 15 moves. I got 30 moves ahead of it. Again, I'm doing worst case scenario, and if worst case scenario doesn't happen, we win, right? But I'm always planning for the worst case scenario that they can do both within their legal authority, and beyond of what they're capable of. So the categories of what they're going to do are they're going to continue to try to assassinate Trump. Already got a plan in response to that and what should take place.
Tell me that. Could you say it?
No. That I don't need to put it out, because if I put it out, that means people are going to think like I'm trying to advocate for that to take place. I'm not. But you always have to have somebody planning out worst case already in advance that has already thought through it, so that immediate action takes place. So I already thought through that deliberately. I got a response to that. It's going to be worse for them if that takes place. And I already kind of explained some of that on InfoWars back in February on Alex Jones's show. Number two, they're going to go ahead and try to take out Elon Musk. Well, he's already created countermeasures to be able to circumvent that and stop that with Starlink, right? It's only going to help it. If they act, it only helps his businesses. So if they shut him down, then more people are going to want Starlink. And so then it puts him in a stronger position. Brilliant guy for setting all these things in place. And then the last part is the electoral heist going into the electoral count process. And you're just going to have to follow my work on X and Rumble and Substack and some of the other free speech platforms, because that's where I'm going to. You don't want to put stuff out prematurely, but I've already thought through all that.
Amazing. I mean,
January 6th and January 20th and beyond.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to give, or is that like what you'd like to expose at this point?
Right now, everybody needs to focus in on convincing the biggest influencers to go ahead and understand that the direct allocation of electors needs to occur at the hands of the legislative body, and the only way we get that politically for them to move on that is to expose the corruption further of 2020, and then get big influencers to demand that the people understand that this is the method for a free, fair, secure, safe election that stops all levels of fraud. All levels of fraud.
It has to. Now, Joe Rogan you mentioned. I mean, Joe Rogan in the past, and this is just what I've heard through the rumor mill, hasn't necessarily been, like an Elon Musk or like yourself, going balls to the walls for our freedoms. Why do you think he's going to step up in this scenario?
One indicator of that is that he started following my Twitter account 2 weeks ago.
Nice, bro. Nice. Oh, well, I heard it now. That is beautiful. That is amazing.
Wait, hold up. Let me prove it so that I want to better.
Congrats. That's huge. And by the way, for the viewers, I mean, you of course know Ivan. If you don't, I mean, it's somebody that's been busting his ass for a real long time. Wow. That is awesome. So Joe Rogan, show the camera. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not bragging or anything. It's just that I'm honored to some level that he's following me. But at the same time, like one side of me says it's long overdue. It's not that you need to follow. Joe doesn't need to follow me. But if he wants to understand the deep state by name, date, place, and transgression, he has to go through this learning process of understanding what Mike Benz has put out. That gives the global institutional level of who's behind it. Then he has to kind of talk to somebody like a Sean Ryan, which he did, I think, yesterday, which is a somewhat insider understanding the system. But then if you want that PhD, granular level, pixel level understanding for 5 hours plus of the names of the individuals in the institutions with the proper timeline, with the link analysis, with all the indicators and warnings of what they did to apply to what is about to happen, that's when you need to bring me in. And you don't have to bring me in. Well, in essence, he is the vehicle to educating a large swath of the independent, libertarian, Green Party, basically those that are not in support of the political class, which is both political parties, which is most of the country. If you want me to help you be the vehicle to educate the nation, to include Joe Rogan himself, like I'm ready, willing, and able at a moment's notice to jump on the next plane, to go in studio, to lay this entire thing out in as much detail as he allows me to do that. Because the detail comes with time. It's a function of time, so that he brings in 2-3 producers. Because everything I say, I will basically say, hey, pull up the following piece of evidence. And when I bring in the evidence to support what I'm saying, and people see what it is, it's usually a court document where someone's under oath. It's usually the raw piece of evidence and not the analytic punditry that's put out by someone that has no clue what the system is, and number two, that is being told what to say. He can fact check, law check me real time, and as the discussion goes on, he'll be very surprised at my encyclopedic knowledge of the entire apparatus and why I taught it to our most coveted professional intel analysts in our U.S. intel community and our international partners. So I'm not the dumbest guy in the room.
We know you're one of the sharpest ones, man. I mean, the way you've forensically gone into this. Obviously, your background
I'm also the most humble human ever known in humanity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the most humble.
People love me. That's why people love me, especially the haters that comment. Well, the more confident and cocky I become, it's just a sign of humility.
All right, man. So Ivan, I see.
Laura Logan.
Oh, Laura Logan's calling you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome.
I'm having dinner with those guys.
Oh, what you saying?
Yeah, I was going to have dinner later with some of the folks that are speaking tomorrow.
Amazing. So, anything else you want to say?
Live?
This is recorded
right now. Go.
No, I'm going to air this. I'm going to prepare it for Monday or Tuesday. I want to give it a prime time.
Okay. So, here's the call to action. Read Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2. Contact your state senator and state representative and say, hey, look, on November 5th, this is the only method to stopping all levels of fraud. If you don't believe me, go ahead and go to Ivan Raiklin's Rumble channel and literally consume anything that I've done over the last few weeks, whether it's my interview on Alex Stein, whether it's last week, whether it's on InfoWars with Owen Schroyer, Alex Jones, whether it's with Mike Adams, the health ranger, whether it's with Roseanne Barr, which the interview is going to air next Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Whether it's, by the way, you got to watch that one because her eyes water at the end.
Okay.
And so do mine, kind of.
Yeah, wow.
But having said that, it was very emotional and it was very powerful. And then also Dinesh D'Souza and some other key influencers.
Amazing. Wow. Amazing, brother. For those who haven't seen the General Flynn movie, I mean, if you really wanted to get to know Ivan Raiklin, it kind of blew me away because you're always here, telling people to be tough and fearless, and you're a bit of a bulldog and stuff. But, there's really your sensitive side, and you see how offended you are by these persecutions when they went after General Flynn. Do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, when you say sensitive, that means like...
In an anger way. The way I describe it is it was angry tears slowly coming down your eyes, but it was anger coming out of you, that you're so disgusted that this is what they would do to this good man.
No, I thank you for saying that, but it's embarrassment, anger, and disgust all wrapped into one. And basically, I was in a position to do more to stop this from happening, so I'm at fault as well.
You blame yourself.
I blame myself because I never blame anyone else. It's always me. I look in the mirror and say, what else could I have done to stop this shit show from happening and continuing?
It's funny, man. When I went to college in the mid-'90s, I remember there was a lot of wokeism coming in, and I remember there was one guy in my class that would stand up to it and say, this is nonsense. I want to learn studies as opposed to this bullshit you're trying to sell us. And I got to tell you, man, I'm embarrassed that since 95, I was very quiet for a very long time and did things incognito.
You're basically, by staying quiet, you're letting them run over you. Well, guess what? Come find out. Please attempt to run over me, because I love the Constitution, the 27 amendments, and the 7 articles and the 27 amendments. And there's nothing more than I would like to see than to educate someone in person of what my Second Amendment looks like. But they need to go ahead and pass the threshold known as
treason,
triggering my right to self-defense, my inherent right to self-defense. And if anybody wants to call my bluff, I welcome it.
I'm serious about this, by the way. It might sound like a joke. When all this stuff's done, I'm not kidding. You need like a training men to be men academy. You guys like you need to be teaching this new generation of men, dude, because this energy you have, this passion, this dedication, I mean, is so masculine. They try to tell us toxic masculinity. This is God's masculinity. This is God's power masculinity here, because you're fearless, man. They could kill you tomorrow for doing it, but yet you're still fighting this.
Try. I mean, please give it an attempt. I welcome it. Now, some people have called me the ball gardener because I'm basically the guy making some First Amendment sounds and then with some water, basically trying to get men to grow a pair. And I suspect that this interaction has helped. So every time you use a micro weakness word or term, you're going to pause and say, you know what? That's not the appropriate terminology to use.
Well, there's a lot of people that don't have this energy right now.
I have no time for anybody that's exhibiting fear or worry or any of those weak words. And so if you're still hanging out with people that have that, it's your responsibility to make sure that they stop that.
And I point them in your direction because knowledge is power, and you have the knowledge because you have a path right now where people think November 5th is things all done and said, but you have a path, and in your knowledge there's a lot of power of having that path and making people feel fearless because they have a path through this.
They fear me because I know the system so well that I know the individuals, and when you know the individuals and you have the massive amount of support and volunteers, etc., that help you investigate every individual, and then you have dirt on every one of them, and then when you put some of the names out on blast, even if they're in positions of power to come after me, they think twice or three times because I can, like this, if somebody comes after me hard, make sure that every single one of their neighbors, every single person that they interact with in their daily life, whether it's a grocery clerk or anybody, will know immediately how much of a scum they are. So if you come after me, the pain is going to be very significant.
This is why I always thought that moving Congress to the states is so important because right now they're in this little private little club in Washington, D.C. When you...
Over there.
Yeah, right here.
Like
This little
blocks down the street.
Yeah, like we're literally, Lincoln Monument's right in front of us and Capitol's right down there. And so these people are in this little private club. Once you move it to the States and these people are shopping with you, they're walking down the street with you, their behavior will be totally different, no?
So these are feeble-minded, compromised individuals. So the way that you're able to leverage them towards the path of righteousness is you have to create sufficient countering energy known as political pain that is more overwhelming than the blackmail that is used against them to go straight down the wrong path. And what that means is when you have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, millions of people that, let's keep it clean here, that want maximum accountability for your actions. Use your imagination to think of what maximum is. Then they're going to be concerned with, they're going to need to compromise and negotiate with those that have blackmail over them so that they're like, hey man, I'm going to have to go with this. Otherwise, I'm not going to be in my position to at least try to cover up our blackmailed relationship. That's the level of, once you understand that, it's unfortunately that we've gotten to this point, that's when we could create the necessary motivation for them to do less corruption. The Department of Government Efficiency needs to have a concurrent Department of Retribution, because once you throw all of these scum out of government service, it doesn't stop there. They need to be held to account, aka retribution to the maximum order, using the state's powers.
And, you know, and my new thing is, by the way, our job doesn't even come close to being finished until January 2029. Would you agree?
It's 29. Let me say this. It's going to get so much more spicy after November 5th.
Yeah.